Okay, over here I'm going to explain to you the basic trigonometry, which involves the function of a sine, cos and also tangent. Okay, first I'm going to explain to you the relationship between the angles and also the sides. So first of all, if you look at the angle over here, alright, so in the previous video we have learned the hypotenuse from the Pythagoras theorem video. We have learned this, that the side A is the hypotenuse. So we just put the name of hypo. Now look at the angle over here. Okay, this angle. So the angle has a opposite, so which is a C, and this is the opposite. And the side that is beside the angle here, this is, we call it as a adjacent. Okay, so this is, we call it as a adjacent, alright. So now I'm going to move the angle to the opposite side. Okay, now the angle is over here. So if you can notice, the opposite will fall at B. So now the B becomes the opposite side, and this is the adjacent. Okay, this is the adjacent. And the A, as usual, it is a hypotenuse. So now we are going to use all this relationship to form the equation sine, cos and tangent. So now let me explain to you. Sine theta, okay, the sine theta here is the opposite over the hypotenuse. Now cos will be, the cos theta is adjacent over the hypotenuse. So now for tangent, we do have opposite over the adjacent. So only the tangent do not have the hypotenuse. Okay, so you can remember it in this way. So the hypotenuse here will be, for sine, opposite is B over hypotenuse A. And for cos, here you have an adjacent, which is C over A for hypotenuse. For tangent, we will have opposite, which is B over the adjacent, so which is C. Alright, so I'm going to write it down for you. Okay, so this is the formula. So please take note of this, because after this we are going to solve the questions. So let me just repeat again. So this is your hypotenuse, and here you will have the opposite, and over here we will have an adjacent. Okay, so we are going to start with the questions. Okay, now first question is finding the x and your y. So y I will do it later for you. Okay, now if you look at here, to find the x, so based from the angle over here, okay, this is the angle, so we do have hypotenuse, okay, and then we do have the x. So the relationship between the angle and the x here is called as opposite. Okay, so now we have hypo and opposite. So if you notice at this part, okay, here we do have opposite and hypotenuse as a sign. Okay, as a sign. So we are going to replace it over here. So sine 30 is equals to opposite over hypotenuse. So we just have to take the tan and move here, so it becomes tan sine 30. So if you press in your calculator, so here we will have 0.5 for sine 30, and your x value here will be about 5 centimeter. Alright, okay, this is for finding the x. Now let us find the y. Okay, let me erase this. So now the y here, I'm going to place it as here at this part. So now from the angle we can see this is adjacent. Okay, this is adjacent, and this is still a hypotenuse. So if you look at here, adjacent and hypotenuse. Now adjacent and hypotenuse here will be under cos. Okay, So we are going to use cos over here. So cos 30 equals to adjacent over hypotenuse, which is tan. So the tan will be moving upward here. So when we calculate by using the calculator, tan cos 30, so I'm going to get here about 8.66 centimeter. So this is the value of the y. Now let us look at the second type of question. Okay, now second type. Okay, now find the angle x and also length y. Okay, angle x. Now this is y. Now is given the angle that here is 8 and here is 10. So this is obviously it is a hypotenuse. And if you look at here, this part, okay, this part related to the angle, this is opposite. Okay, so we are going to place here sine x, because we are unsure about the angle, so we just put there sine x, and opposite over hypotenuse. Okay, now look at the sign here. So we have to move the sign to the opposite side, so we become a sine power of -1. So in your calculator, so we can press the shift. Okay, press the shift button and then you press the sign. So you can see there will be a sine power of -1 appearing. Okay, so when you press inside your calculator, make sure you bracket the 8 over 10. So I'm getting here about 53.13. This is your angle. Okay, so from the angle to find the y, okay, to find the y length, we can use two methods. One is by using a Pythagoras theorem. Okay, so to use the Pythagoras theorem, so let me erase this. This is a 53.15. So I'm going to just write it down over here. This is 53.15. So either you want to find the length y by using a Pythagoras theorem, or we can use simply the sine cos tangent rule. Okay, so if we have the angle over here, let me choose tan and the y. So the angle here and the y, it is, we call it as adjacent. Okay, so we have here adjacent and this is hypotenuse. Adjacent and hypotenuse, we do have adjacent and hypotenuse is cos over here. Okay, so we write there cos 53.13 equals to adjacent over the hypotenuse. So we take the tan, we move here, and then place this in your calculator to find the value. So we will be getting here tan cos 53.13, so which is about 6 centimeter. Okay, so this is the two types of question that I want to share with you for sine cos tangent, the basic trigonometry.